Hello, you wonderful YouTubers. Wonderful new environment to be in, isn't it? For my little chat here today. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but there's my boat, or not mine, but the boat right behind me, ready to get worked on. I've been tinkering with the mast this morning, trying to get ready to pressure wash it. I had to put new braces underneath it so that it wouldn't fall over when I start polishing. Yeah, pretty exciting, really. There's quite a bit to do inside still, but all in all, not a lot of work. I think if I could stay steady at it this month, or a few hours a day is all I'm going to need, really, all month long. I think that I'll have it as ready as I can get it. Right? We got to paint the white, clean the masts, figure out the ropes, because they're still attached to the mast. So I got to trace them down carefully. I'm going to wash them right on there. I think they're pretty well rotten. I'm going to probably need new ropes. And then the sails. They're I was looking them over. They're usable, but they're definitely going to rip. And or have the corners rip out, or it's going to be all important, all the little eyelets and stuff that are going to start that look worn out. So so that's our next goal. Can't seem to figure out Patreon so much, how to share it. I don't know, whatever. It is open. I think I'm just Jason Logan, Patreon. I did find a link that I can share, so I'll try to put that in the description. If you feel like supporting a couple crazy Christians, we're gonna go be pirates on the open sea. I don't know. I'm out of gas on the flat earth stuff or trying to talk about anything right now. Probably because I'm getting to talk about it every morning with a real person instead of, I should just start taping those conversations that him and I are having, so that I can still put out a little truth and flat earth stuff. I don't know that that's important anymore. I've said my piece, I guess. If you want to know more about God that way, look it up. I think that me sharing God I don't need to share flat earth so much out in the world. Just truth, biblical truth, and in any form. So if you want to know about geology, biology, age of the earth science, carbon dating, radiometric dating, all that kind of shit, I have a wealth of knowledge on all that. So while I'm out winning souls, I think that all that knowledge is useful, but the most useful thing is just bringing Jesus. Little seeds. I find if I plant a little seed, then it actually gets the person thinking. Leave them for a few days, but they'll come back to me most of the time. People in public, not you guys. They'll come back to me and ask, well, what about this? What about that? Which is wonderful, because a lot of times I don't know. So I get to go learn something new, right? Like whatever their question was. sometimes I just got to say, I don't know. All I can say is like, people say, well, how big is the sun then? Or how far away is it? Or whatever. And it's like, well, we have theories on that. We have math on that through Pythagorean theorem with the rays of the sun and all that kind of stuff. And so we do have good estimates, I guess. But nothing definitive, I don't think, really. Obviously, the Pythagorean theorem works, so that 35,000 feet or it's more than that. Anyways, is about right. And as you look at pictures of the sun from planes, from people, you'll see that the sun will be in the clouds, and there'll be clouds behind and clouds in front, and you're almost at the same altitude as the sun, which is right around 35,000 feet. So it does make sense because we fly around 32,000 feet. So, or in that range. So it seems to be logical. But who knows? I can speculate. Anyways, guys, God bless you. Have a great day. I really hope that you find a way to support me. I should figure out what else I could do, I guess, GoFundMe wise or whatever. You can always fund me by praying. That's the number one way that I make my money, is through however God sees, and if he's seeing, if he's looking and people are praying, I know he'll pay. Look at the churches, right? That's what gives me so much confidence about that when I worry about money, because I can't make money here, but I can. I can't actually make money here, but I can. God can send me money. God can do a miracle, right? I got, I don't know, let's say 650 million crypto coins, all different, whatever. But if any of them went to $1, 10 cents even, that'd be a lot of money. So anyway, I know God can provide because I see it happen all the time. Mostly with churches, it's through other Christians donating or not donating, yeah, giving their money to the church every week. So I'm not a church, I realize that, but I'm more biblical than any church in the world. I'm actually more for God than any church in the world. Every church says that they'll yield to man's science and then believe what's left of the Bible, where I believe the Bible and then believe what's left of man's science. Call every man a liar before God. So it's in the writings, it's in your scriptures, it's in your book, and you guys just ignore it and talk about millions of years, evolution. Evolution, see, it states that there were millions of years of death that created mankind, where God says man's sin created death. Fundamentally opposite. It's one or the other. You can't mix the two. They don't mix. They'll always be separate. and have to be separate because the complete opposite theories. It's either death created man or man created death. So, based on that, all of that, I know that I'll work out some way or another financially. But anyhow, I hate asking you for money, to be quite honest. But I know that there's people out there who have way, way, way too much and love to share it. You're out there. I just got to find you. So I read the book of the Freemasons recently, and that's like what I'm doing is what their book says to do, word for word, basically. I realize that. No, I don't realize. I'm told that at the top levels, once you get to the 33rd degree or whatever, you're told that Jesus is Satan or Satan is Jesus or whatever, and that the whole time you're not really worshiping Jesus, blah blah blah. If that's the case, which I don't know for sure. See, they say that they're the opposite of the Illuminati. They say that the Illuminati was created as their opposite to oppose them. Anyhow, mosquitoes. They fuck off, you little bugger. Feels like it's a piece of grass. I keep looking down to look for the piece of grass tickle up my leg. Anyhow, I'd say that they were really good originally. All good originally. And then throughout the years, their top levels have been infiltrated by these fucking Satanists that have infiltrated everything in our society. So you can't just say the Illuminati are bad, or sorry, the Freemasons are bad, when your government's the same fucking thing, your church is the same fucking thing, your school system is the same fucking thing, Hollywood is the same fucking thing. So why single them out? Anyway, and normally, if something's getting called evil by our society, it's because they're good. The 12 tribes, for an example, they're called child abusers because they openly spank their children. They do hold a very stupid belief system in the end, but not because of that. But that's why the world attacks them. And the world says, oh, they're fucking child abusers. This is from the people who go to Epstein Island, right? The news media, the Hollywood people, the politicians, all your leaders that be, telling you that the 12 tribes is evil and child abusers go to Epstein Island and abuse children sexually, not just spanking kids for misbehaving. Now, the 12 tribes problem is that they believe they're the 144,000 are going to be their kids that are going to be raptured and all this stuff. And here's the thing about that. They're hidden. Your whole tribe is hidden away from society. You don't see the world. The world doesn't see you. So why would God pick those people to rapture? He wants to make a statement with it. So if your people, 144,000 of your kids disappear, it's just people are going to be like, yeah, well, that's what you say. But I don't believe you. You guys say a lot of fucking things. You guys are crazy. You're child abusers or whatever. You probably killed them, is what they're leading up to, right? So God's not going to use those. And more importantly, he doesn't need your help. People were picked at the beginning of time. He wrote their names in the book of life when he laid the foundations of the earth. So to think that he needs you to raise them, no. See, God works with the least expected or whatever. So it's going to be kids that are like in the hood, in the worst fucking possible positions, and they're going to be in a lot of public when they get raptured. They're going to be at a football game. They're going to be at a baseball game. They're going to be at a something. They're, town square, right in the middle of the city, in the mall, with all these people around watching. Otherwise, the Antichrist wouldn't get pissed off about it. He'd just be able to lie. So, anyhow, I know you're out there, Freemasons. Like I said, I've read the book. It's more Christian than anything. See, God told me a long time ago, it was actually when the Illuminati was trying to get a hold of me, that only a fool decides a matter before he hears of it. So you'd have to be a fool to not listen to both sides of the story. You got to think, when two people break up, you're going to get two totally different stories, or very different stories, from each person. Like one guy, the man's going to say, oh, she did this, that, and the woman, whatever. Or if it's two women or two men, whatever. When people break up, there's always two different stories. When people have any fights, there's always two different stories, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle. I suppose there is some people who actually tell the truth, and there's some people who bold-faced lie about every damn thing. So the truth not always in the middle, but even the people who are honest have some bias towards their own side of the argument. Anyway, I'm open-minded to it, them being good, and I'm certainly going to look to both sides of every story. I want to see both sides of every coin, right? And any book that you tell me not to read, I'm going to go read it. Especially like after reading the book of demonology. See, everybody, Christians especially, are the worst for saying, oh, King James was evil because he did the book of demonology and blah, 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 or whatever. Have you read it? See, the book of demonology is a conversation between two men, and one guy's very learned, and the other guy is trying to learn. So he's asking him questions about witches, warlocks, demons, all that kind of stuff. And the other guy is answering the questions to the best of his ability on how they trick man, and how they all work, and how to avoid them, and how to protect yourself. And it's not like put garlic around your neck, protect yourself. I mean, mentally protect yourself. How to recognize when it's the devil and when it's God. How to recognize who it is that's talking to you, and then what it is, what they're saying. But anyhow, so we should always listen to both sides of every story, and we should always question when we're told not to do something, especially when it's like somebody says, "Oh, don't do cocaine." Well, they're probably looking out for your best interest. Don't question that. But if somebody says, "Oh, don't read this book because it's not necessary. It's not your history," or whatever. Like the Jews, they say, "Oh, you shouldn't read the Jewish books because you're Christians. You're not Jewish. You don't need it," and this and that. Well, it's history. It's the history of where our Bible came from. What started Christianity? What inspired the Old Testament and brought us into the New Testament, and why? And like people say, "Oh, they say throw away the old laws, this and that." I agree, throw away the old laws, but there was reason for them before. Uh, so don't eat pork or unclean animals. Well, that isn't about it being sinful. That's about it being horribly bad for you, and it's killing you slowly. So you don't eat it. But Jesus changed that and said, "Well, because you guys are going like the Jews at the time of Jesus were going way overboard with the laws, and they were picking like these little tiny laws and nitpicking and making people pay with sacrifices for all this shit, and they were screwing up, muddying up their religion. I'm sure that I can't say it as good as some priests or ministers do, but they it wasn't about the main laws, the real laws. It was about it wasn't about getting rid of the laws. It was about getting rid of the laws. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it because it's just son of a bitch. It's just not there. It's not popping into my head quite right. But the bulk of the laws, Jesus just made them stronger. Thou shalt not kill. Jesus said, "Thou shalt not even think about killing. You've already sinned. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." Well, thou shalt not even, once you've even thought about coveting your neighbor's wife, you've already sinned. And the word covet in the Bible meant to take her, because you coveted it, you own it now. You went and took it. We changed the definitions of words. Bible. God said, "I'm going to protect that Bible." So Satan knows not to screw around with the Bible, but he can screw around with language. And the proof of that is in you can tell that the Bible was translated properly because all of the layers. You couldn't fake that. You couldn't fake the um, the mathematic shit of, oh, if you add up the spaces between these words, then it spells this numerically, and then you add up the spaces in these words and it spells that numerically, and so these three books, they all line up that the New Testament leads to Jesus, or backwards forward Torah leads to, yeah, it was Torah, Jesus, Torah, or something like that. And so it was the Torah leads to Jesus backwards or forwards, or whatever it was. This was some Bible scholar I was listening to that went way overboard with his knowledge. Like so much that it would, listening to him actually like made you tired, because you were doing so much brain work in your head, listening and concentrating on it, that that it wears you out. But that shit can't be faked, right? And it works in the Hebrew, the Greek, and in the King James. You can't fake that shit. I don't care how smart you are. There's things in the Bible, one sentence that means 5 different things. You just got to know how to interpret it and read in context and look in other places and all this other stuff, and you can get all this extra meaning out of each thing. That's how people can spend their whole lives studying the Bible and never scratch the surface. And then also, you spend your whole life reading the Bible and you never read the Jewish books that inspired the Bible, so you're never, ever going to scratch the surface. You can't, because you don't know the history. You don't know the Maccabees. You don't know, like, what led to Jesus. When you read it and it says, oh, the king of the north, the king of the south, you're all confused. Who are these people? Where'd they come from? Well, they were King Arthur's generals. Or, not Arthur. Shit, what was his name? He conquered the known world by the time he was 34 years old. Something the Great. Alexander. They were Alexander the Great's generals. When he died young at 34, he didn't have kids. He split up the kingdom, or he did have kids, but either way, he split up the kingdom between his 4 generals, which is how Edom became to be in control. And you get to watch all this and you see it all happen, and you see how Edom infiltrated the Jews, and you see who the false Jews are and when they infiltrated and who they came from and all that kind of stuff. And then you can understand your book better because you have all this back knowledge. You're not going to understand the Bible. It's like reading Return of the Jedi without reading who, like, Darth Vader was. You didn't read the other books. You didn't see the other movies. You know? And it's even more complicated than that. You could even say it's like watching the last Lord of the Rings movies first, or whatever. It just doesn't make sense. You're going to be lost. Who's this? Who's that? What's this person doing? Where did that person come from? I've gone to the movies with people like that who come to the third one or the second one, and they didn't see the first one, and it's like, well, what the fuck? And they're asking you questions through the whole movie, and it's like, shush, shut up, I'm trying to get into this. It's been a long time since I watched a movie. Yeah, that's probably not true. I watched one on the plane, kinda. It was stupid. Anchorman, stupid. I kept skipping parts and stuff. It was just hard to watch, but I had no internet and I had nothing to do. I couldn't, like, do anything. You're stuck in a fucking plane. Anyhow, yeah. Knowledge is key. We need to seek knowledge. But without discernment, you'll never turn it to wisdom. So you also have to pray for discernment or understanding. Through discernment, you get understanding, and then with understanding and knowledge, you have wisdom. You need all 4. So, personally, I pray to God that each and every single one of you guys gets more discernment than you've ever thought possible, and that you understand this world for real and see what it is, because it's frustrating living with you, to be quite honest, especially nowadays. There's so much out there. Why can't you see it? Because we have to fulfill the book. That's why. But some of yous are still there, obviously. There's still some Gentiles to be saved, and then there's the Hebrews to be woken up. So there's lots to do. People, I was guilty of this. I used to fantasize about, like, being in the pirate days or being in the old west and fucking the land and everything being free and this and that, and you could actually fucking do things and not have Big Brother over your back. But you couldn't, really. Big Brother was always there. It was just less prevalent. But this is the most exciting time to ever be in. And there's so much to do. You know, no, there's not a lot to explore, but there's so much to accomplish with our lives. So many things that you could be doing other than working 40 hours a week to keep a fucking house that you don't get to enjoy because you got bills to fucking pay and stress and sleep to get, and so you work and you sleep and you struggle, and then maybe you go on vacation and you come back to your life and everything's kind of unrailed and you gotta fucking try to keep it all together, and you're more stressed out than when you fucking started. The vacation was pointless. It wasn't even a vacation. It was just, I don't even know what to call it. It certainly wasn't a break. It was like people when they say, I'm gonna drink and forget my problems or whatever, drink away my problems. Well, no, you're gonna drink and let your problems get out of control. You're gonna lose control of your problems and exacerbate them. Drinking doesn't solve problems, it makes problems, right? If you have money problems and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go get drunk so I can forget about well, drinking was your money problem. Hello. So I don't know where I was going with that. Anyhow, trying to end this, boys and girls. So I will. God bless. I'm going to go and look for my Patreon. I'll put it in the description. And maybe I'll put that Flat Earth app in the description again as well. I don't know what I was going to name this video. I thought of like 3 names on my way through, but I keep forgetting what the fuck it was that I even talked about. Oh, I'm going to call it something with the Freemasons, so maybe I'll get some attention from them. Yeah, anyhow, wish me luck. No, you don't. Pray for me. I'll pray for you as well. And God bless. Have a great day. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. See you later, guys.